Good Thursday morning, everybody. I'm Dave Furtado.
And I'm meteorologist Jefferson Donovan.
And Jefferson, in the world of weather, quite a little bit of a change-up. We were expecting to see some thunderstorms. I even saw stories over on the west side talking about the prep work that's going to be going for these thunderstorms,
yes.
But it didn't seem to kind of fall into place.
It did not necessarily pan out as we were anticipating it to. It's best to just kind of admit when there's a bust on a day like today, and that is what happened last night. There were a couple of thunderstorms, especially up towards Cle Elum and Ellensburg. We even saw a pretty strong thunderstorm in Adams County last night, but we did not get that widespread spatial coverage of thunderstorms that we were anticipating. And for areas west of the Cascades, that was also the case. We were anticipating an unprecedented thunderstorm type day, but that just really did not verify. Mother Nature certainly threw us a change up yesterday evening. As we are waking up this morning in Yakima, we are not seeing too much precipitation, although there are showers out there. It is 57 degrees right now, and it does look like we are now currently seeing a rain shower in Yakima. Spotty showers are going to be possible throughout the course of the day. I will also mention that we are going to see a pretty steep drop off in temperatures in the next couple of hours once a cold front does sweep through. So here's a look at your weather headlines today. Showers are going to be seen around the forecast area, some isolated thunderstorms as well, although the thunderstorm threat is not too great today. Temperatures are going to be turning much cooler today, especially when compared to the last couple of days. And then for the weekend, there is going to be a few shower chances, but many of us will be staying dry. We'll talk about all three of these weather headlines in more depth coming up.
Thanks, Jefferson. We begin this morning talking crime, beginning in Kittitas County. An Ellensburg man is headed to federal prison for downloading child sexual abuse material. 39-year-old Aaron Dollarhide was sentenced to 15 years in prison for one count of receipt of child pornography. It comes after a prior conviction for a similar offense. Prosecutors say Dollarhide was arrested in 2022 after his phone was seized by investigators revealing child sex abuse material, which included 687 videos. The case was investigated by Homeland Security. And a man who played a role in a 2018 murder in Wapato is also headed to federal prison. 27-year-old Joshua Max Estrada was sentenced to 100 months in prison for one count of accessory after the fact. Federal prosecutors say he helped move the body of Jedediah Aisha Moreno, who had murdered Rosenda Strong on or about October 5th of 2018. They say Moreno was murdered the next day and that Estrada helped move her body near White Swan. Switching gears this morning, fire crews continue to watch the area where the Yakima Delta fire has been burning in Richland. The fire started a few days ago and kept flaring up. So yesterday, crews completed a burnout operation along a hand-dug fire line that was built from the bike path to the river. The burnout was designed to create a buffer against potential flare-ups. A fire crew has been monitoring the area, and this morning, workers will remove any tree limbs or other debris so that the bike path can be reopened. The fire is now confirmed to be 100% contained, though it may continue to smolder and flare for days or weeks, depending on the weather. The top manager at the Hanford site has resigned, and it follows the resignation of his second in command. In a memo emailed to employees Wednesday and provided to KEPR Action News, manager of the Hanford field office, Brian Vance, told his employees he'll resign effective April 24th. 2 weeks ago, Deputy Manager Brian Stickney posted on LinkedIn that he's also resigning. He no longer appears on the Hanford website leadership page. Neither mentioned specifically why they're resigning, but did praise the employees they worked with and the accomplishments they achieved together. When we asked what the interim leadership structure will look like, Hanford Media Relations told us those details have not yet been announced. And Yakima's irrigation season is about to get underway, and city leaders want to remind you to do your part not to waste water. The irrigation season begins April 1st with full operations expected by April 8th. There are about 11,000 residential and business customers. City leaders want you to prepare by checking your faucets, making necessary repairs, and ensuring everything is ready before the water starts flowing so you can help prevent flooding.
We encourage people to do is be very cognizant of the use of irrigation water. Just some tips about how to conserve water, both irrigation water, but also domestic water, because all of that water that we use comes from local rivers, from local water sources.
The city of Yakima's irrigation season runs from April through October. And sticking in Yakima, the city of Sunnyside will apply, Yakima County that is, the city of Sunnyside will apply for grant funding to make infrastructure improvements to the Monson property. On Monday, the city council approved an application to the Yakima Supporting Investments and Economic Development Program. The local board awards grants for public works projects in rural areas that support business. With the SIED grant, the city hopes to make the property more attractive to developers.
The interest has been really high, but just to get across that finish line, I just think we need a little bit more. And I think this seed grant, if we can get some infrastructure, in particular for a lift station, would be really helpful.
The city will ask for the maximum $2 million award, which is a 50% grant, 50% loan, which will be paid over 10 years at an interest rate of 4%. And speaking of construction, the Vista Field project is already well underway, but some even bigger changes are coming. That's because yesterday the Port of Kennewick announced that they've confirmed the construction of 300 new homes in the Vista Field area. Leaders say the new homes are a sign of what's ahead.
This is what the community told us they wanted to do when we master planned that entire 103-acre site. They said we want to be able to walk and live in the same space, and we want to be able to push our baby strollers and play with our grandkids on parks and open spaces, but we want to have mixed use.
Once work is completed, Vista Field will feature a mix of homes and different businesses that leaders hope will become a community hub. And spring is here, and all this weekend, the Yakima Valley Sun Dome will come alive with the energy of the 2025 State Dance and Drill Championship. As KIMA's Anissa Williams reports, teams from all across the Evergreen State will showcase their skills in a variety of performances from hip-hop and dance to military and pom.
The championship will feature teams performing in 6 categories: dance, hip-hop, kick, military, pom, and show. Local teams from Sela, Eisenhower, and Sunnyside will be competing.
State Dance and Drill, that's our longest running state championship that we hold here in the Yakima Valley. I believe 1996 was the first year.
With over 60 teams performing, this high-energy event offers a fascinating mix of music, choreography, and athleticism.
The reason that this is unique to me, say if you're playing basketball, you have a bad 5 minutes, you have 27 other minutes to fix your issues and correct your game. Here, I think it's 1:45 is your performance time. If you have a bad 5 seconds, you can be done and not get a chance to win the championship. So this is a very stressful, high energy, high stress event. And these athletes do a wonderful job.
But it's not just about the competition. It has a huge impact on the local economy.
I think there are a few less performances, but that doesn't mean that there are less people. Last year, it brought in about 4,200 people, which took up about 2,500 hotel rooms, and the estimated economic impact of the event was about $1.7 million. So I would imagine it would be very similar this year.
Attendees spend money not only on tickets, food, and merchandise, but also on shopping and local services.
The reason we get these events, I think, is because of the people. We do have great facilities. Our hoteliers are wonderful as well. But our community really embraces these events, and they're really happy to see the people here, and they're happy to see the visitors come in as well. If you haven't had a chance to come down here, please come and check it out, because it is a really cool event, and it's great to see a group that maybe doesn't get as much publicity as some of the other athletes. It's good to see them kind of get their own spotlight and get their own championships and awards.
Now, Divisions 1A, 2A, and 3 will perform Friday, while 4A will perform Saturday. Doors open at 11:30 a.m. with the events beginning at 12:30 p.m. KIMA's Anissa Williams, thank you so much for that. And we're going to jump right over to meteorologist Jefferson Donovan to talk the weather for today. Seems like a bit more mild in terms of that temperature range. It looked like we were hitting back up into the 80s again yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday we broke record temperatures all the way across the board, and we'll talk about that later in the show. But today we are going to be coming back down on those temperatures in a pretty significant way. Highs will only range from the upper 50s to mid 60s today. And what I will say is that there is going to be scattered showers throughout the day, and you'll also notice that on the board I have that thunderstorm icon. It is not going to be a big thunderstorm day, but we still could see an isolated thunderstorm here and there embedded with some of these showers. We're not anticipating any kind of severe thunderstorms today, but again, if you hear a rumble of thunder or two overhead, that is certainly not out of the question. We will break down the remainder of your forecast, and we'll walk through the Storm Tracker Futurecast coming up.